I'll tell you what else is really interesting too in this whole debacle. There's another level to this. Those who are algorithmically fed red-pilled type information countering the narrative, and those who are actually engaged with the content in general. What happens is there are a lot of people. So I was talking to some guy I know today, and he said, he's like, listen, man, you used to be really good at everything, and now all you do is just basically you're like a hardcore Trump supporter, and it's all you do is just always protecting Trump. And I was like, do you watch my show? And I was like, because we do defend him, we do criticize him. He's like, I only ever see from you defending Trump. And I said, have you considered that Facebook and YouTube are only giving you the videos I produce out of the 3.5 hours per day that I produce? They're only showing you the Trump article, the Trump defense ones, and they're ignoring the times we've talked about him when we're critical of him on war and John Bolton and things like that. It's like I think we said John Bolton 5,000 times and criticized Trump for hiring a bunch of dumb people. Certainly we defended him, and I did vote for him. That's true. But there's a lot of people who were Trump supporters who only ever got from YouTube the videos that were like, Trump isn't that bad. And then the times when I was like, here's what I don't like about Trump and here's what I'm mad about, it doesn't go to them because they're less likely to click it. So YouTube isn't incentivized to share those videos. Yep. Then you'll get people on the left who are only fed that content because it's more likely to be watched by Trump supporters. And then they're like, this is all he produces. But then the people who actually engage with the content, who would watch every episode, I see them commenting online and they're like, what are you talking about? He like criticizes them all the time, especially Ian. And he's like, when Luke and Dave Smith were on the show, it was like 2 hours of just nothing but ragging on Trump.
Awesome.
But people don't
wasn't
get
there for that show
because the algorithm doesn't give it to them.
Trump has a lot to be ragged. Not to take it too far away from what you're saying, but all these people have enough to be critical about, I think.
I mean, sure. This was actually one of the points that I raised as one of the main reasons I voted for Trump was because the media is like relentlessly, like totally, actually unfairly critical of Trump constantly. Yeah. And they were at the time covering up the Hunter Biden laptop story. It's like there's no evidence they're going to be critical of Biden. They're actually covering up a story that's critical of Biden right now. And I was like, if the media's function, the point of a free press is to be able to criticize power in a free country.
Yep.
And if that's not happening by whatever set of, for whatever set of reasons, then you have to become skeptical of the side that benefits from that. And that was part of the reason that I wanted to vote for Trump.
It seems like a symbiotic reason, like the clicks, like you were saying, it's a clickbait thing, so they're making money off of it, and it's also politically infusive for this liberal economic order, basically.
Well, right. Plus, I think Tim was describing that there's an echo chamber aspect to the algorithm. The algorithm gets better and better and better. It's driven by machine learning, so it gets better and better and better at predicting what kinds of things you will click on and therefore play the first 5 seconds of an ad of that they make some fraction of a penny off of, unless you accidentally click on the ad and then they make some slightly more fraction of a penny.
Accidentally click on it?
I mean, has anybody ever actually clicked on one of those things on purpose?
Unless I missed the skip it button.
I click on ads on Instagram all the time.
Yeah, Instagram's dangerous.
Dude, there's cool stuff. There was one where it was like a mini lightsaber.
All I can tell you then,
it was a torch, but it was had like it was awesome.
All I can tell you then is that your algorithms are getting to know you very well.
I know.
Dude, they showed me this solar torch thing, it's called, whatever, and it's got like a jet like super long. And he like melts through a tin can, and I was like, I have to buy that.
That is sort of a seriously man toy that
I know.
Every man does need. Like, could you send me that ad?
Actually,
yeah.
kind of.
No, there is one here.
But literally, I was just like, I can get a torch faster, so I just went and bought a torch.
Yeah, well,
and I was like, cool. And then we have fires in the back sometimes, so I was like, I'll just use a torch.
Yeah, that's fun. But no, the truth is though that the whole point is that the algorithm's supposed to learn what you'll click on because it drives their ad revenues. There doesn't have to be a nefarious plot. You don't have to have, whoever the directors of YouTube in these shadowy rooms saying, oh, we're going to turn this all left, all left, all left. It doesn't have to be that. These algorithms are going to feed people echo chambers. And that's how you end up getting like conspiracy theories, like whether it's QAnon or Blue Anon or whatever Anon or Whale Anon I made up on Twitter.
Whale Anon?
Oh, that was when Twitter, they made that, bird watcher thing,
Yeah.
And they put a fake tweet. Well, I don't know if it still exists, but they made that like fake news is everywhere on Twitter, and they put a sample fake tweet, and it said whales are not real. They're robots paid for by the government to control you. And I was like, this is Whale Anon. And so I'm like making memes like they look like a Q, and it was a whale though with a tail. It's like a Q with a tail.
So here's what happens. There was a study a few years ago where They tracked various networks on Twitter and then created a visualization.
I saw that.
They found that digital marketing overlaps with the resistance, the establishment democratic position. That means what is that hashtag?
Hashtag the resistance. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happens is Pepsi and Coke and Oreo and whatever big brands, Nabisco, their ad campaigns live in the same universe as anti-Trump Democrats. So their advertisings are crafted around this core group of individuals, which means if they see a video where someone's sitting there like with their eyes half closed and they go, I like Donald Trump, they go, get our ads off that video. And then Google says, okay. And then Google goes, we just lost a $50 million contract. What happened? The guy said he liked Trump. Okay, well, ban it. We're losing $50 million.
Yep.
There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
Put it on the list.
I can tell you
Yep.
something a little scarier than that. I happen to know some people who work in, AI development and all of this. And so this guy called me a while back, and he's like kind of big into all this. He's like a PhD in it or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I don't know if you know that they're actually, you have machine learning or whatever, the algorithms and how they work. The people who are behind that, you have to, with a machine learning algorithm, it's like the machine makes a guess, and then humans are training it by saying, yeah, it was a good guess or a bad guess, right? In many, not always, but in a lot of cases. And they're literally using intersectionality as the guide to decide what the right and wrong answers are. And so it's like, was this white supremacy? It's intersectionality is how they're using to decide that kind of stuff. And that's what's getting baked into those algorithms. Meanwhile, they publish articles with the iron law of woke projection saying white supremacy is in all of the algorithms. We have to put more intersectionality into the algorithms.
A few years ago, I was hanging out with you and Helen Pluck-Rose and Peter Boghossian, and I got in an argument with Peter.
No, that's not a surprise.
And it was because I was saying that the media was creating this. It was social media and the algorithms, and he was adamant that it was coming from the universities.
That's what
I think both are true.
Both are true.
But the point I made was this. I literally watched this happen. I experienced this. I started working in digital media spaces end of 2011. I officially started working for Vice in 2013. I went to Disney. I watched how they implemented these things, why they wanted to do it. They explained it to me, and I explained to them why they were wrong. But what happened was it's very, very simple. It's a simple algorithmic equation. When Facebook started rising in prominence, in attention, and generating ad revenue, they started to notice that police brutality videos were skyrocketing in viewership. Something about it was just getting more shares and more attention. And there's like a viral song, this is what happens when you call the cops. There were websites dedicated to nothing but police brutality videos in the Alexa Top 500. Absolutely crazy. All they would do is just aggregate police brutality videos. Now, sidetrack, I'm sure a lot of young people who are swimming in that are now activists saying defund the police because their whole brains were mashed by it. But something else happened. If you made a post and said police brutality, the algorithm recognized people love this stuff. Send it to them more. But then something else happened. There were also videos about social justice, racism, sexism. The algorithm also said, man, people love these videos. Send it to everyone. And then something magical happened. Racism skyrocketing, police brutality skyrocketing, and then all of a sudden someone made racist police brutality. And then if a racism video would get X views and a police brutality video would get Y views, a police brutality and racism segment would get X, Y views. Well, I should say X plus Y because I don't want to assume it's exponential.
Or X, Y minus 20% or some algorithm of
it
increase.
Would be an increase.
Yeah.
And so this created a space when digital news outlets started getting tons of venture capital funding. They started to realize this is how you make money. A good example is there's an expose on Mike.com. You're familiar with Mike.com?
Yeah, it still exists.
Right. When they started, they were libertarian.
Right.
They were Ron Paul libertarian, apparently. Yeah. So it's been reported. And it was because Ron Paul was very popular online. The Ron Paul love revolution. So they were like, okay, let's write these articles. Then they started to play that game. At least it's been reported this. You want to avoid litigation. But so this is what I read, and I could be wrong. But my understanding is that they started putting out articles on social justice and then creating formulas where it was like, X has an X problem or X has a Y problem. And then all of a sudden, combining these different things was getting more and more views and traffic Because if you had a community of people who watched police brutality and a community of people who watched social justice, you mixed those communities together and you maximized your viewership. This pushed intersectionality as the perfect ideology. All of a sudden, there's one article from Vice. I can't remember the exact title, but it was like trans women of color being beaten by police proves proves why we need Black Lives Matter. And it was just like every possible keyword mashed into a headline to get as much traffic as possible to maximize revenue. And so long as advertisers don't mind being on these psychotic, I mean, this is like, when you read these articles, like there was a joke meme where a guy is like sitting in a room and he's trying to write a name for a Vice article. He's trying to come up with a Vice article. So he pulls an adult toy out of a box and throws it at the wall, and it just sticks. And then he's like, transgender ketamine dealers of Colombia or something, random. That's basically what was happening. And then the advertisers are like, I'm okay with this. And so as long as that system functioned and advertisers didn't care, it was fine. And then they found their boogeyman with Trump. We saw Gamergate happen. This was, I mean, the start of the culture war. It's a very interesting thing, and I can't get into the history mostly because it's very complicated. You know, I think the Gamergate was the first battle. But what I think happened was these video game websites. What do you write about? You have a job. Your job is to write 5 articles per day or 3 articles per day. You've already wrote every walkthrough for, you know, the new Zelda game. What do you write? No new game coming out until the holiday season. Speedrunner did a speed run. All right. Video game's racist. Ooh, yeah. And sexist. And anti-gay. Yep. KKK, go away. Put it all in a headline and we got a hit article. And then every day they had to do that. And then all of a sudden, that's what gaming became. You
say the sexist thing too, and you put like a picture of like a bikini anime chick or something like that. And then like you're also just getting guys that are like, oh yeah, the chick in bikini. Because even though it's a cartoon, click. Whoops.
You'd have like a sexist article, a racist article, an anti-gay article, and then you'd make the sexist, racist, anti-gay article. And then those writers would go to other companies and write an anti-gay article over there that would enable them to reference it.
Game of telephone.
Yeah.
So
it happened fast too.
Yeah, so big time. That's true.
Because people were so hungry and they desperately want this confirmation bias and they love tribalism. What would happen is you'd get one article, you know, where this outlet would write some nonsensical drama about completely not just total BS. Video gamer accused of, you know, they're stealing $100 from their ex, and then people would click on it and they'd be like, I can't believe he really did that. And the story nowhere in it would actually say it actually happened. But then another outlet would pick it up and be like, I can't believe so-and-so was accused of doing this. Yeah. Then the next article would say, multiple reports now, citing that this happened. And then it loops all the way back around and they create a circular feedback loop of sourceless garbage. And the whole thing is just algorithmically trying to generate revenue. Here's the best part though. They've created this feedback loop where they're basically parasites, right? You know, like I think the conversations we have are imperfect. We're not the best. We engage in culture war stuff too, and nobody is perfect. But I think we try to have legitimate conversations, really break down these ideas to the best of our abilities. What they do is they just leech and parasite. So recently we had this journalist from Axios got a job at Teen Vogue as the editor-in-chief. Right. Well, the people who work there wrote a letter trying to get that editor-in-chief canceled for 10-year-old tweets. In response, it was a 7-figure ad deal was pulled, frozen. The article said they lost it, and then it said it was frozen because of the controversy. So this company, Teen Vogue, which is supposed to be a fashion magazine, and now it's like writing about Marx and social justice and critical theory, hires on people who are good at writing about intersectionality because it gets a lot of clicks. And then those people attack their own company, costing their own company 7 figures. So perhaps there's some optimism in all of this, in that these people are just consuming themselves and will eventually just be a withered husk in the corner of nothing. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.